Hey guys, Ian Fernando here. We're doing another interview, chat, call, talk, whatever you want to call this, while I'm stuck in quarantine. Everybody's been doing a bunch of videos, and as you can see, I've been pushing a lot of content lately on the affiliate industry. And today we're going to talk about affiliate tracking, why affiliate tracking is needed, what to expect from your affiliate tracking and your data. And I have one of the owners of Landing Page Track, a tracking plus optimization tool all in one platform. I met him through Affiliate World Europe, right? Correct? In Spain,
Correct.
and we chatted about tracking platform is that time very, very unique. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and then let's go ahead and get in the conversation going.
Sure. Thanks. My name is Jorge. I'm the founder of LandingTrack, which is nowadays the only automated tracking platform. And the whole concept is new for many people, but it's something that it was already there because it's basically connected everything into one single platform and automate, which means an army of bots doing whatever you want them to do. So it's not really, I don't know, that there are many apps in the market that are doing that. So why not on affiliate marketing?
Yeah, correct. So the tracking platform basically tracks on a per click basis. So if you're an affiliate, a media buyer, an ad agency, you want to track your spend, you want to track your landing page CTRs, and you want to kind of figure out what widget and what sources, what website IDs are more profitable. And this is where tracking comes in. So why do you think tracking is very, very important for a beginner media buyer versus maybe somebody that's at an ad agency?
It is important because media buying is about data. If you don't have data, you cannot do anything. I mean, you can be lucky the first day, but just the first day. And beside any other different role or job, media buying is paying in advance. You will pay for a future reward, and that reward will be the profit. And to make profit, you need to study, and to study, you need the data.
Yeah.
So that's the equation. There are no more. So that's why you finally need a tracking system at least to analyze all those details and then have your own conclusions.
Yeah, but then how does one person come up with a conclusion like with all these thousand of clicks coming in through the tracking platform, how does one know, hey, this widget ID is more profitable than one widget ID versus.
Well, usually, as you know, there are many variables. You may receive 1,000 clicks,
Yep.
and maybe you are not making any conversion. What does it mean? Is the offer bad? Is the widget ID bad? It depends on the time you want to invest on that, because you don't know what that widget ID is actually, where is being placed your ad. So how do you know? First, you will need to put into competition several offers. That's the only way to know or to be 100% sure or landers that that widget ID will be profitable. But on the other side, are you willing to spend, I don't know, $100 per widget ID just to know if that one really works? So after all, it's depend on the strategy you want to face when you start buying data. And obviously, the sooner that you make a conversion, you can smell something already.
Yeah, yeah. So that's good. Yeah, I mean, I agree with it for sure. I mean, you have to understand how like the interaction from a cost per click basis resulted into what type of ROI, right? And trying to
Mhm.
measure that from like an EPC standpoint or seeing it, a 3% of my CTRs resulted in X amount, right? So with all these data
Mhm.
points to analyze, right, there's so much to really to look at. And what are like the important factors? Is it just the plain landing page? Is it ad CTR? Like I said, there's a lot of variables, and I agree there's a lot of variables too. But I mean, there's that aspect of like ad copy variable, which is kind of not hard to measure a little bit, versus
Sure.
maybe performance of a widget or a landing page, right?
Well, for me, the key of the success are on the small details. Because when you analyze a widget ID, you will realize that maybe that widget ID is sending you all the traffic from Android. Okay,
Yep.
fair enough. But within Android, which version of Android?
Yeah, you have different OS versions, even the phones.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So these are the small details, and within those different Android versions, it's enough traffic, it's web, you don't know. So you really need to go deeper, because let's say that you start with how do you say, a wide view.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, what you need to do is to go in narrowing that view until you identify that a specific widget ID coming from Android 6.0 and a specific app, for example, is the one that is bringing you the conversions.
Yeah.
So now you have found something. So
Yeah.
what would you need to do with the rest? Well, you can always create a path so you can redirect all the traffic that is not converting right now to different offers and keep testing. It's up to you. You want to keep spending money on that widget when only 5% of its traffic is the profitable one.
Yeah,
To you.
it is a tough decision. Sometimes there are times where I'm like, oh, this is right now at a -%. I wonder if I can optimize it just a little bit more to make it profitable, but is it
Mhm.
worth my time to make it that extra 1%? And did that 1% cover yesterday's 2 days
Exactly.
cost or past week's cost, you know?
In fact, that's the answer. If it's worth time or not.
Yeah, correct. That is the toughest answer for any affiliate or media buyer to really, really do. And even I myself will struggle with those things. And sometimes I get pretty egotistic sometimes. I'm like, oh, I could do this. I can spend another $100 on it and make it work. And then I probably didn't, you know.
Yep,
So
that happened. No,
yeah,
I understand that at the beginning when you start on this, you should be quick. I
yeah,
mean, don't try to look for the gold right away. I mean, and don't try to spend two, three, four times whatever you wanted to expect to spend because it's not gonna work. Why? Because there are many again variables. You might find something super good, but then you talk with the account manager or with whoever you want, and they tell you, "I'm sorry, I just have 50 clicks a day." So how the hell are you gonna scale up that campaign?
yeah. No, I agree.
Forget it. Move to something different. It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
So that's the kind of thing. You will find the potential when they tell you, "Oh, I have, I don't know, 10,000 clicks a day." Then you will say, "Whoa, that's different." So maybe I need to be, to swim into that, like in that moment.
yeah, so I was that's a pretty good example. Like I was actually doing a campaign just last week and I was optimizing it and I optimized it a little way too much where I actually stopped getting traffic because the volume was very, very little. And I had to open it
Mhm.
up just a little bit more to bigger cities because I needed the volume from the bigger cities, right?
Yep.
And that's how it is. Even though you're optimizing, you can't really micro manage the
No.
widgets and cities and all that because you still need volume. There's no point, right?
Exactly, and also you can always think differently. Like if my search is too narrow, that I'm not getting traffic, perhaps I can go wider, because I might be spending a little bit more, but on the other side, I'm getting more traffic. So
Correct.
instead of being on super niche, it's like I'm gonna open some other sites that I know that doesn't convert. But let's say that my spend is only, I don't know, $10 on
Correct.
those.
Yep.
But on the other side, I'm getting more traffic for the wood one, so I'm making more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's all about playing.
It's
It's not.
Yeah, it's more of like a juggling. You have to juggle like, oh, okay. Even though I'm micromanaging my widgets and my cities and my limitations, I also have to macro look at it at a bigger view and understand, hey, I need a little bit more volume. I need to get this
Mhm.
going. So I guess the next question, which really goes into, is like, when affiliate starts out, should they buy volume at a broad scale, or should they specifically just start off with like, I only want to target Android Samsung phones on Android OS 4, 5, and 6? Or should they go broad first?
That's a good question. You have never been in a buffet, when you go to a restaurant.
Yeah, buffet, yeah.
Uh, so if it's the first time, what will you do? I
Uh,
want to try everything, right? And
I,
then I will keep the good ones. So this is practically the same. If you don't have an idea, then go for all and then study the data.
yeah, and look at
Then
data.
after, exactly, then after, I don't know, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, you will know, ah, ah, every time that I'm running maybe South Africa and I'm targeting this specific mobile version, nothing good's coming out. Okay, so you keep it in mind. Next time you run South Africa, you just need to remove it
Yeah,
because you already touched it. So I
exactly.
will always recommend to go, go for the whole buffet. It's like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you will know what dish do you like
Yeah,
or you prefer. Mhm.
that's good. So then like let's say there's a CPA offer of like let's say a typical sweep offer that is like $2.40. How much should a person spend on just a per widget or ad creative or a full campaign before they think, hey, out of all my data, what I assume should be profitable is not in a range where I want it, where I should be comfortably spending more.
Well, that's actually pretty a personal question. Um, my opinion, I will go to two different strategies. I mean, I will try to be super aggressive.
Yeah,
Same campaign, I will clone it twice. I mean, I will clone it. I will have two. And one, I will be super aggressive, like cutting placement, I don't know, spending 0.15, no more. And the other one, I will go a little bit wider. So I will understand what's going on.
oh,
Same bit,
okay.
for example, yeah, because after all, like we said, there are many variables, and I need to be the same to understand the potential of both campaigns with the same widgets. So
Very interesting strategy, actually. It's pretty good. That's actually a pretty good take, actually. I've never thought of something like that. More so, I'm more of like a throw stuff at the board and see what sticks, and then study of why it's going. So
that's
that
another approach. I mean, it's pretty logic as well. But after all, it's like, what should I don't know. It's when should I cut a placement? Obviously, you should cut it before you lose,
yeah, of course.
because otherwise you will never make money out of it. But a lot of people ask me actually, and it's like, okay, be aggressive, be not that aggressive. So you will have your own conclusions depending on the country, on the offer, how you can actually cut the placement.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's really up to you as a person to figure out what is comfortable for you and to strategize. I mean, you can definitely go super minor, or you can go super
Mm-hmm.
macro, right? So,
Exactly.
and now with optimization, there's obviously a lot of there's more input in optimization. There's more time spent than actually buying the ad, right? So, like for example, I was running a campaign overseas, and I'm in bed, and I overspend, and I didn't make any profit because it was my mistake to not set a CPA goal, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now you have a platform where it does the tracking plus optimizes. Can you go in depth about it more?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the whole concept actually it was not new, like I said, but we all have that problem, right?
Yeah,
Media buying needs to work for 24 hours a day. So what will you do while you're sleeping? Who's gonna check that? No
yeah,
one.
no one.
So why don't you have a bot checking for you?
Right,
A
but
bot that
some
will be
people can't
working.
create bots. That's the problem, right?
Well, that's why you have people that create bots for you, and then you use the platform so they work for you. So when you have a bot that is working 24/7, 365 days a day, no matter if it's raining or if it's winter or summer or whatever, then at least, obviously, bots will never replace humans. But like you say, optimization is the hardest way.
Yeah,
So now you tell me, how do you manage a campaign with a normal tracker where you need to to stay there optimizing, uploading, with 1,000 tabs open, blacklisting, and then checking your creatives and the CTR and so on. You tell me how many hours you can spend a day doing that.
and I would literally spend a lot back in the day for sure.
That's the
Um,
thing. But nowadays, we don't have time for that. What you should invest the time is on. You can read some freelancers. It's fine, but maybe you should invest your time on checking your CTR, checking your freelancers, checking your display banners, and so on, because that's the key and the data. So let the bots do the monkey job.
yeah,
Meanwhile, meanwhile, you focus on what matters. I mean, what it's important. So honestly, I never use a manual tracker because there is no sense. I don't know. It's like but there's no need, no need to spend 24 hours a day just blacklisting sites when a single bot can do it for you.
Yeah. So what is the
It's pretty
bot? How
simple.
does the bot work off? Is it is rule based? Is it machine learning? Like, is there a set template per traffic source, set template per CPA goal? So how does that all work on the back end?
On the backend, we do have machine learning. There are two different algorithms, but that will be how the system optimize the offers that you place into the competition.
Okay.
That's one side of the optimization, and the other side is the optimization on the rules, which means bots checking your rules. Like if I have spent, I don't know, 50 cents and there is no conversion, then block it for me. So you forget. You can go. Well, you cannot go out with your friends because we are all locked down. If you want to cook or do whatever you want, you can do it and focus on other things. So keep reading, or doesn't matter. That the rule is there. Like if my CTR is below this percentage, then block it. So the rules are doing that job. Meanwhile, the machine learning is two algorithms. They're optimizing the offers that you have into the competition.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. So I've used your tagging platform, and it's pretty straightforward to use. You just set up like, hey, if this widget spends more than $1 and no conversions, or if there's X amount of impressions, then it will just block or unblock or do what it needs to
Mm-hmm.
do, right? So now I didn't know about the machine learning part on the back end. Was the machine learning part there when we first met in Europe?
Um, Back in the days, yes, yes. When I used to work for Mabusi and my partner too,
Okay.
I think that we were the first one, the first company using machine learning. Let's call it like that. And well, obviously, it has evolved. That's how you say it. There's an evolution or
Yep.
development. We still do not believe that we should be working on other kind of technologies like artificial intelligence or things like that, because let's be honest, it doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. I mean, once you know a little bit of code, you realize that you can always use conditionals. Will actually do the same job for less.
Yeah, that is actually true. But then you have to be a little technical and trying to understand like the APIs between networks and your trackers and all that. So that is.
I know. And this is something actually that is not that I'm surprised, obviously, because nobody can know if nobody teach them. But many people told us like, but we are connected on API, and I say, yeah, but do you know what's an API? No. So, so what do you expect from an API? It's like, I don't know. Maybe you should ask, you should read, you should document yourself before assuming that it's going to happen. Oh, magic.
Yeah,
There's no magic.
and
It's
every
just an
API is different.
integration.
Like every API call is different. Like a call to an ad might be totally different the way it's set up on a per platform basis. So yeah, it can be very very difficult at times. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about like redirects, right? As any typical tracker, all trackers are redirecting from one domain to the offer or the actual landing page, and then redirecting from the landing page from obviously the same domain for cookie
Mm-hmm.
variations to the offer. Now, as Google and Facebook, like a tier one traffic source, they're very strict on having no redirects. And then I see some other networks, like I think even Snapchat. I just started advertising Snapchat, and they have a no redirect policy on there as well, right? You can preload the redirect so they can see it prior, but it's very, I think gray hat right now, not gray hat, but very. I'm still understanding how it works. But how do you think trackers are going to evolve over time? Because right now, I don't know if you've seen the Facebook lead cloak. They recently got sued by
Yep.
Facebook, and because of the
Well, what?
cloaking, and cloaking is technically redirects, which is what all
Mhm.
trackers do. You know. So, what do you think that scenario is going to happen in the future?
Well, honestly, no idea. Yeah, no idea. No idea. I mean, for the moment, we're focusing on pop, on push, on native, on display, redirect. But once we reach the moment of Google and Facebook, then we will need to start to think about it. But for the moment, no idea. Honestly, it's
Oh,
not.
interesting. Yeah, because I know some trackers they can, like I know with Google and Facebook, you're allowed to have the same domain on a subdomain. Like your subdomain can be the tracker, right? And as long as they're on the same domain, it can work. Right? Facebook and Google will allow that.
It is true. It is true. But for example, let's say, I mean, it will always work if you are running directly the offer. But let's say that my offer is ianfernando.com.
Yeah.
And this is actually the domain that you place on the tracker. Then either Google or Facebook will never ban you or track you. Because it's your own domain and it's the one that you are placing on Facebook and Google. So there's no redirection because you are the owner.
That
The
is true.
problem will be when you are not the owner.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, just because anybody can buy any domain they want, technically, correct? And then just yeah.
Exactly. I think that is something just to avoid others trying to do advertisement over different products. I don't know. It's just an opinion because if I'm McDonald's, I don't want anyone to place McDonald's without my knowledge. So if you want to run McDonald's, you will need to use my domain, but obviously you will never use it or be able because it doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like
on
like
one
the
side, Facebook.
yeah, like the Apple sweeps, like the iPhone sweeps, Walmart gift cards. I mean, people buy like wall dash smart dash.com, just to make it look like it. But yeah, I totally agree with that aspect. So now I guess let's hit back on the AI and machine learning. Do you think all this rule-based optimization will eventually go into a systematic data point where a machine can understand, hey, this is the average TTR going broad. I can break this down algorithmically. Do you think that tracking will go into that space more so, and what will happen to affiliates?
I think that it can go farther, but it will take a while. But a while. Yeah. There's no. I mean, after all, a tracker needs a human.
Yeah.
It's like that. I mean, you can train a machine a lot, but still there are so many variables that it's not that easy to. It's first too costly, and secondly, it takes a lot of time. And it's not to say what you are running, that what the guy next to you is running, and so on. So I don't see more advanced for the moment. At least for the next few years.
I'm kind of there too, just because the variable of human input for like ads and ad copy and then images on your landing pages, copy on your landing page is such a huge variable, which is not data driven technically versus clicks, CTRs, conversions, ROAS, ROI that you get in your tracker. So
actually, when you apply, I don't know, machine learning in this case, the only thing that you know is that a random widget ID made a conversion on a specific offer, coming maybe from a specific banner, impacting on a specific lander, and some other stuff that you don't know what's the widget ID. If it's a TV show website, or if it's a cooking chef, or so, how do you teach a machine to know that when it's coming from a TV show website, it should go with this specific banner that it's made for it, and so on and so on and so on.
That is true, but there are, like, especially on push and pop, you have the source, and you have the source and publisher, right? So they can assume widget to publisher, and they can assume everything on this publisher can be good, and they can start blocking on widgets. And then on web content, I believe everything's by category as well, but not.
But it's a category. It's a category, which means you don't know which is the color of the website.
Yeah, that is
true. You don't know it.
Yeah.
And this is important to know because maybe, I don't know, maybe they are using green and your banner is pink. There's no sense. Or maybe it does sense, but you don't know. I mean, that's why I mean, maybe you are using this typo, the how do you call it, the calligraphy?
Okay. Scripting.
Okay. Yeah, and they use a completely different one that is not matching. So how do you know that?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it does get complicated on the. I guess the solid point is once a machine or algorithm understand data out what that's given to it. It needs to understand how to work with it, right? I don't think it can never go outside because I mean it's going to the website from blue to pink and does it understand this category of blues is under a subset categories, right?
Mhm.
So it does very
Also,
come.
realize about that. What if you, for example, you're capable to build a machine like that?
Oh man, that
What will
is
you do? What
man.
will you do?
I just
Will you share it? Will you share it with the rest? No, you will be the king, and now no one else will be running because your machine will be super big. Will be doing the job for everyone.
that is true, but I think I wouldn't mind sharing it at all because the point is the fact that like, hey, I'm only one. There's billions of ad inventory out there, right? So and
Mm-hmm.
I don't and I wouldn't have this huge cash flow to do millions and millions of ad spend a day, if anything, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, that is interesting. But all
I
right,
think it's
so
pretty interesting actually, because I don't know. It's like tell me something, or maybe not. But when you find gold, do you share it with the rest?
see, so that's so I'm a very different type of affiliate. Like
Okay.
I am very like that's why I have adventures because I don't mind sharing my experience because to me if you're a newbie like you can't even comprehend to the ad scale that I went to or ad spend to actually make that conversion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're an experienced person, to me it's I don't mind really. I'm not a like there are times where people like say, "Hey, you hired somebody, and aren't you scared they're gonna take your campaign?" I'll be like, "Dude, I'm happy he actually learned how to do
Oh,
marketing,
that's good.
right?"
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
that's
yeah,
good.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
But then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there. I agree with you also, just because there are affiliates out there and marketers that just want to keep everything to themselves, but they're just such a small percentage, and our industry is already a very tiny percentage already anyway. So out of that, let's say 5% of affiliates in the full advertising full scape that 0.001% of one person trying to replicate the business is so minute, you know.
True.
I mean, that's how I see it, right? You know,
No, no, no. That's good. That's good.
so, but yeah, will you guys have any other integration with like landing pages or anything like that, or are you just gonna strictly stick to data and tracking or optimization and tracking?
We might. I mean, it's obviously that when you're tracking where when you're a platform that can integrate whatever you want, so there's no limit.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you just gotta keep building on top of building for sure, you know.
Exactly. I mean, we can integrate a forum. We can integrate a landing page creator. We can integrate whatever we want. We open the door of these integrations.
Yeah.
Now the rest are following us. Is like it is. I mean,
That
over the
is
last
true.
year,
There is a lot over exactly just over a year. I think yeah, it's been a year since Spain, right? Or has it? Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
or 2 years, and the last world or something like that. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but it's like if no one innovates, what happened? Uh,
Everybody's
they get
stagnant.
sleepy.
Yeah, I mean that's why
Yeah.
then you
So
have
the
like
more
yeah that's why you have like volume. They just came out with Automizer, which or yeah, which is okay. But then you have Optimizer, then you have Brax and Maximus just came up to me to discuss about their platform. Um,
Oh, Maximus has been around the same as the optimizer, but they don't track. They're right
yeah,
in the middle.
yeah, they are. So I had a demo with them yesterday, and I was so confused on how to set up their platform just because they don't do the tracking. You have to set up Maximus as a traffic source, you know, which is
Exactly.
so weird to add in my tracking platform because then it separates. I don't know. It's very different, I guess. You know.
It's different. It's still super valid. I'm pretty sure that they are super good at the same as the optimizer and the rest, but you need to handle two accounts, your
Yeah.
tracker and their optimizer,
Correct.
which is fine.
It's just another
But
tab open, you know, which is not good.
mhm.
All right. So
People might like it and others doesn't. I mean, I do know affiliates that they don't like automation. They prefer to do everything manually.
yeah,
It's fair
well, I
enough.
mean, a lot of affiliates I know when I first started out, there's like, oh, I don't want them to have my data, which is true. They're getting your data, they're getting the conversion point, they're posting back everything. right?
That's true. That's true. When people tell me, will my data be safe with you? And it's a funny question because if we need to analyze all the data that I don't know that a landing track might have, um, I wouldn't even be talking with you. We should be analyzing data because there's too much. There's
Yeah.
too much. It doesn't make sense. My business is not to analyze data; it's to build software.
Yeah, see, exactly. And that's what I tell people when I'm like, dude, everybody's going to the cloud to remove the technicalities. But for example, LandingTrack's business is tracking and software. It's not data, right? But then it comes to a point where like,
What's the thing?
yeah, exactly. And then, but it comes to a point where like, oh, these new software owners were affiliates, right? But that what makes the software good from experience, right? To turn something that you had experience with into something better that's not on the market, right? So that's what's the huge difference. But people don't understand it. They're scared like, oh, he used to be an affiliate. He's gonna take my data. They can optimize it and they can see the campaigns and all that stuff. But again, I'm at that point where like, dude, that 0.1% is will not bother me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, at
So
all, at all. And I mean, it's technically impossible.
yeah, all
Impossible.
that data
Cannot
coming
be
in
done.
is pretty.
I mean, in days, I don't know. If one day instead of being 24 hours is like, I don't know, 90 hours, you might have some minutes, to have a that. But there's no point. There's no point. How many affiliates are out there? How
Oh
many affiliates you might have on your tracking system? Um,
yeah,
not no at all, honestly.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, let's end that there. We're already like at 30 minutes in there. So if you have any
Okay.
other suggestions on how people should start optimizing, right? Where should they go to, and how should they do it?
Oh, using rules, you mean?
Yeah, rules, or I mean, how should one person that's getting into this game just start looking at data? Like how should they look at it? You know, like let's say
Um,
you're a brand new affiliate, right?
mhm.
And you just spent, like, I know people in my ad vendors group, they spend $50 and they're so confused, and
Mm.
it becomes hard to difficult, or it becomes difficult for me to explain where to look at first. So how does one person starts understanding how to look at data?
Um, you shouldn't spend much money. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you always need to start with tiers that are more affordable
Yep, like push
because
and
of your
pop.
budget,
Yeah.
obviously. And then if you have to spend, I don't know, $20, I will say for a payout of 0.25 or 30 or something like that. And for me, it's even too much. And there is no conversion. Cut it. I mean, cut it. Just move. And also, one of the things that I read that many people made the same mistake is that they are always changing. And although our business changed a lot, your working flow shouldn't change that much. Like if you want to test this specific traffic source, then stick to it. Get
Yeah.
to know that source. Try different ads and try different landers, but don't move to a different one because you have spent $50 and you didn't brought any conversion. Because you will end up spending your budgets on different traffic sources, offers, and for what?
Yeah.
For nothing.
Exactly. And depression kicks in, and they're like, "Oh, affiliate marketing is a scam," and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's
No,
what's
no,
up.
no. And let's be honest, it's not an easy job.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
job.
I agree. I mean,
It's
there
a
are
job.
months where,
You need to invest 8 hours a day, like any other job.
or
It's
even
not
more
like
sometimes, for sure.
or even more. Yeah,
Yeah,
and this is something that maybe people doesn't realize. Like they believe that they spend $20 and they will buy a house. No, no. You need to invest a lot of time because it's a job.
yeah,
This is not like the old days. The old days were like that,
yeah.
but
The
not
old days.
anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Mhm.
Well,
But not anymore.
yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank you
Okay.
for the conversation we had. If you guys have any questions, uh, for LandingTrack, go ahead and leave them in the comment below, and I'll forward them over, and then he'll get them answered. And if you want, he's actually in Adventures Online as well. If you have any questions in optimization or questions on tracking, he's ready. He can answer them readily in the chat. So again, thank you very much. And I'll talk to you soon.
Was a pleasure.
All right. Make sure you stay safe out there in Spain. All right.
I will.